Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this Azure DevOps tutorial series, today let's discuss about what is Azure Boards and why should we start using Azure Boards. Alright, so this is more of a theoretical video where I will try to give you a very quick introduction about what is Azure Boards and what are different features present in Azure Boards. And we'll cover a very key topic about why should we move towards our Azure Boards, and or else why should organizations start moving towards using Azure Boards from Azure DevOps. All right. So Azure Boards provides software development teams with interactive and customizable tools they need to manage their software projects. So each and every item within a project you can easily manage using Azure Boards. All right. It provides a rich set of capabilities, including native support for different methodologies like Agile, Scrum, Kanban processes, calendar views, configurable dashboards, and integrated reporting. So these tools scale as your business grows. Okay, we can easily and quickly track work items, issues, bugs, and other code defects associated with our project. Okay, so um, each and every item within your software project can be easily managed using Azure Boards. Is the only simple thing I can explain to make you understand what is Azure Boards. All right, so let's see an Azure board so that you will have a pictorial representation of. Okay, so here it is. So I'll come from first. So I went into my project. So on the left hand side you can see we have boards, Azure Boards. Inside Azure Boards we have quite a lot of work items, right? So we have a lot of modules like work items, boards, backlogs, sprints, queries, delivery plans. We will see about each and every work items in detail in our upcoming videos, but for now we'll just focus on the introduction to Azure Boards and why should organizations start moving towards Azure Boards. Okay, so if I go here, you can see this is a basic board that I have created. Like, you can easily view what are the work items present and at what status it is present, to whom it is assigned. So all project management activities can be easily done using Azure Boards. Okay, so we will see about each and every item in detail in our upcoming slides, but I just want to show you so that you can visualize this particular Azure Boards when we discuss few key topics in the upcoming slide. Okay, so so listed here are few key features that Azure Boards provides. All right, so first one is it tracks user stories, bugs, features, and epics. Okay, so it tracks various type of work using the default work item types such as user stories, bugs, features, epics, or even we can customize any work item type that is required for our own project. Okay, so each work item form provides a standard set of system fields, controls, including discussion for adding and tracking comments, history, links, attachments, deployment, development, and related work that controls support tracking when the code is released or changed, and relationship between work items. So this particular information, this particular feature can be viewed in your home page of an active project. So if you go here, so you can see in this particular work item view, you can look at all the information related to a work item. Here we are looking at a user story basically, and we have a title, we have a description, we have acceptance criteria, and you can interact with people using comments. You can see we have story point related details, we have deployment, we have development which can link to the version control, we have other related work items and all. Okay, so if we have details here, we have a history tab here where you can track the history of all the project related information, all the work item related information, and you can link the related work item here. You can just click on add link and link it to any related work item, or even you can add attachments here. Okay, so you can basically play with this UI to understand how and why we can use Azure Boards to track user stories, bugs, features, and epics. Alright, so this is our very first key feature. And then we have something called use interactive backlogs, boards, lists, and calendar views. Alright, So Azure Boards provides several hubs, each providing a set of interactive tools. Each tool provides a filtered set of work item. Most tool supports adding and updating work items. All right, so we saw, right, how we can interact with the work item. So basically that's what this particular second point describe about. Next one is open work items for personalized filter list. So if in the work item page, whatever we saw, right, so at the top we have, let me go here, we have something called, you can filter quite a lot of things using so here it is, where it is, if I go to work items, right, so this is my work item tab where you can filter by a lot of information. Here I can filter by keyword, here I can filter by the work item type, here I can filter by assign to. Basically there's a filter criteria present in work items. Similarly you might have few filter criteria in other modules too, but I just want to show you a very quick highlight about how you can use this filter option to easily personalize your filtered list. Okay, so next one is use Azure Boards to add, update and track status. So you can use the boards hub to view the work items as cards and perform quick status updates through drag and drop. All you can do is just drag and drop your work item. This is like very similar to sticky notes of a physical whiteboard. Okay, so all you can do is you can just if you go to boards, all you can do is just drag and drop. You can drag and drop from here, and in case if it is not working properly and if you want to move it back to active, you can drag and drop here. Okay, so this is a very great feature of an Azure Boards. And next we have something called backlogs. Okay, so we can use backlogs to add, prioritize and organize and assign work. So basically backlog is a repository where all your work items resides. Okay, so the planned work for the future actually resides in your backlogs. So you can use that backlogs to add, prioritize, organize and assign your work. Okay, so we can use the backlogs hub to view, plan, order and organize work items. A product backlog, as I said earlier, it represents your project plan and repository of all the information that you need to track and share it with your team. Okay, so portfolio backlogs allows you to group work under futures and epics. Next one is use sprints for Scrum process. Okay, so if you're already in the agile world, you already know what is sprint and when and where do we use sprint. Okay, so we have an option sprint on the Azure Boards. You can use the sprint sub to access teams filtered view of work items based on a specific iteration path or a sprint. From backlog you can assign work to an iteration path by using drag and drop. All you can do is open your backlog, drag and drop that work item to the current sprint that you are working on, and you people will know what are the active work items that you are gonna work on this particular sprint. Okay, and then we have create work item list and charts with queries. Okay, so we have something called a query tab. We can use the query sub to generate custom list of work items. Okay, so you can basically you can imagine like a query where you can filter the work items present in the Azure Boards. Okay, so next one is backlog hierarchy. Backlog hierarchy means, so generally whenever you have work items in your backlog, you will generally pull the work items at the top to your current sprint. Okay, so it is really important for you to maintain backlog hierarchy. So backlog hierarchy is very neatly maintained in the Azure Boards too. Next we have query charts. So query charts, you can imagine a pie chart, a bar chart or a pivot table. So those kind of charts can also be easily used to track your work and understand the work item statuses. And then we have something called use delivery plans for calendar views and dependency. Okay, so we'll discuss about this particular point in detail because I feel this is a very important topic for project managers and few senior people. Okay, so with the delivery plans up, Management teams can view the deliverables and track dependencies across several teams in a calendar view. Okay, next one is use GitHub and track work in Azure Boards. Okay, so by connecting Azure Boards with your GitHub repositories, you enable linking between GitHub commit, pull request, and issues to work items. Basically, you can link it with the version control tool GitHub to actually track and work your basically you can track your work in the Azure Boards. All right. Next we have very important topic: implement Agile, Scrum, and Kanban processes. Okay, so whatever development methodologies are you're working on, you can use that particular methodology here and implement that in the Azure Boards. Okay, so it is scalable across different development methodologies too. And next we have configurable dashboards and Power BI reports. All right, so finally, when you want to create a dashboard, or you can use some advanced Power BI reporting to create the reports that came out of your project. Okay, so we have options to customize and configure the dashboards and Power BI reports too. Next we have gain visibility through end-to-end traceability. All right, so with Azure Boards you can gain advantage of full integration with the Azure DevOps platform. Azure DevOps is actually designed to provide end-to-end traceability, tracking work items from requirements to deployment. You gain insight at each step of decisions made and software deployed. Once you start using the Azure DevOps, you really gonna love it. Okay, so it has an easy visibility to track your end-to-end information, like starting from creating a work item using the Azure Boards, and how it is linked with GitHub, how you can track your deployment, what is the current release status. So there are quite a lot of end-to-end stuffs that is present in Azure DevOps. Okay, so you're gonna love it when you start using it. So that's why I strongly recommend using Azure DevOps for your organization activities. In that, Azure Boards also help. Basically, Azure Boards is the one which links all the end-to-end traceability. Okay, finally we have support independent and autonomous team. Generally, a team refers to a group of project members who work in a particular product area. So those areas are actually represented as area pods. Area pods are hierarchical paths that denote the possible areas of ownership in an organization. So generally, a team is defined by a name, its members, and its area path. All right. So boards, backlogs, sprints, and delivery plan generally rely on team's configuration. Okay, so for example, if you want to add a Kanban board or a Scrum board or product backlog, you define a team and you will use that information there. All right, so these are very key features that is present in Azure Boards. All right, and do not worry, we'll discuss about each and every features that is present in Azure Boards in detail in our upcoming videos. But for now, we'll just focus on this particular slide. Next, we will focus on why should we use Azure Boards, and why should organizations start moving towards Azure Boards. All right, I think this is the very key part I just wanted to show you, so that any people who wants to move towards Azure DevOps, they can easily use these highlighted points to understand what are the major advantages that Azure board provides. All right, so first one is you can start simply, scale as you grow. Okay, as the name indicates, you can start at a basic level and you can build it across when your team or your project grows. Okay, so Azure Boards provides you with a set of predefined work item types to support tracking features, user stories, bugs, and tasks. Okay, so you can quickly get up and run by using your product backlog, Scrum board, or Kanban board, whatever it is. Okay, so whatever methodology you use, okay, whatever development methodology you use, you can Azure Boards supports that with easy and customizable work items present. Okay, so you can easily start, and once your team grows and once your business grows, you can scale it across. Next one is visual interactive tools. Okay, so as a business, this point might be very useful, because as we saw in our earlier slide, we saw how a Azure board will look like, right? So with the pictorial representation or visual representation that is provided by the Azure boards, it is really easy for you to represent the current status of your project to business or delivery leads, and you can easily provide it in the form of charts, or you can even create dashboards, so and so on. And next one is easy to customize. Okay, Kanban boards, Scrum boards, task boards, and delivery plans are easy to configure and customize through the UI of Azure boards. For example, with Kanban boards, you can configure the columns, you can configure swim lanes, you can configure card styles, a lot of things. Okay, basically you have quite a lot of information that you can configure. Okay, for example, if I go here, all right, under settings we have general, backlogs, working days, working with bugs. There are a lot of items that we can configure in case if we go to sprints, right? If you go to settings here, you can configure a lot of items, like you can configure cards, you can configure any fields if you want to add or remove the new fields for your particular work item. Basically there are a lot of things you can play with. Okay, so basically what I wanted to share is, it is basically easily customizable to work with any work item, and you can easily customize that work item to scale your project needs. All right, so next we have built-in social tools and communication. Okay, work item forms provide built-in discussion that you can use to capture your questions, notes, and communication as they occur. And okay, so earlier we saw about work item type, right? So we opened a new work item and we saw how we can easily interact with other team members to using comment section. So here we have discussion. So in case if you want to add any new comments, you can just put an ampersand at symbol and point to that particular person, and you can give any meaningful comment. Hey, start working on this task. Okay, any meaningful comment. Okay, and then save this. Okay, so this way you can easily communicate with any other project members present in your team. Okay, next we have capture information and generous cloud storage. Work items are designed to track all the information that you need. Okay, so you can edit it in rich text, you can drag and drop inline images, and you can even add very large attachments. You can add attachments up to 60 MB, 60 MB, and as many as 100 attachments. Okay, so in real time you won't use that much attachment, but what I wanted to share is you have generous cloud storage to actually add larger attachments too. All right, next we have quickly find what you need and get notified of changes. All right, so as your project or your business grows, the number of work items you should track is also grows. Okay, to support your ability to quickly find a specific work item, Azure Boards provides you with easy to use tools, like you have query engines, you have ad hoc searches, you have pivot views, you can personalize the alert. Basically we have a lot of features to actually find out what you need. Okay, and next we have monitor status and progress with built-in dashboards and analytics. Okay, we have built-in analytics and dashboards where you can actually create some meaningful dashboards that suits your project needs. For example, if you want to know the list of open bugs, okay, so you can build a dashboard and show it in your dashboard screen. So whenever people logs in first, they will specifically see that particular dashboard and start prioritizing your work items. Okay, so next we have office integration. Okay, Project managers who want to use familiar tools can import and export work item queries to and from Microsoft Office Excel, and import and export work items using CSV files. Okay, so you can even do bulk import and update work items using CSV files. You can even do bulk add or bulk modify work items with Excels. Okay, and next we have extension and extensibility. So you can even gain greater functionality by adding marketplace extension, many of which are actually very free to use. So an extension is an installable unit that adds capabilities to your Visual Studio, Azure DevOps services, or Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if you go to your marketplace, okay, so here it is. If you go to marketplace, you can find any meaningful any useful um, any useful extension that is required for your project. For example, say I want to use query based boards. Okay, this is one of an extension. If this is the one of the extension I want to use, you can go to this particular extension and install it and start using it. Okay, so this is a query based boards which enables the user to visualize the result of work item queries as a board and track the dependencies. Okay, so in case if you want to customize your work item, if there is any extension that is actually available in the market which will easily which will actually ease the way that you work across with the boards, then you can use this particular query based boards. So similarly, there are hundreds and thousands of extensions that is available within the Azure DevOps, which you can start using. Okay, so you can see that particular option here at the top in your Azure boards. All right, and next we have updates via mobile browser. Okay, so basically you can use the Azure boards. You can actually view and even comment, and you can have discussion with your teams using Azure boards via a mobile browser too. Okay, so the work item screen which we saw earlier, you can easily view this work item in your Azure boards via your mobile, and you can easily discuss with people. In the comment section, you can actually deal with quite a lot of information in your mobile too. Okay, finally, last but not least, you can start it for free. Okay, so many people or many businesses or many larger organizations, they have started simple. Okay, they started it for free, and they started up with adding up to 5 free users and unlimited stakeholders. They started it small, and once they start using it, trust me, you cannot deny the option of using Azure DevOps. The reason is because everything comes in a single package. Okay, so you can track all your work items, your project management activities, starting from development up to deployment. You can this Azure DevOps will be very useful, and Azure boards plays a very important role in bringing that features to the user. Okay, so that's why I personally recommend to start using Azure boards for your organization for a greater outcome and achieve higher throughput and efficiency through Azure DevOps and Azure boards. All right, so this is a very quick introduction that I wanted to give you guys about the features and use of Azure boards. Right, so I will cover in detail about different features that is present in the Azure DevOps in my upcoming slides, and I hope this video might be useful to you. In case if you like this video, please subscribe and follow my channel. Thank you.